Hello, good people. Emmanuel Sanyu Safali bring you yet another show of the Promise Show. And today we want to talk about medical insurance. Why medical insurance? We are in the lockdown that came about as a medical crisis brought by COVID-19. And speaking of crisis, I want to acknowledge the Coffee with Robert Kabushenga show that used his voice to actually talk about crisis in a wholesome manner. And my key takeaway in that show was that with every crisis, never waste it, never waste an opportunity. And another thing I learned is that in the Chinese language, there's no word for crisis. It's either danger or opportunity. So, what do you take away from this crisis? Are you just going to forever be in fear of getting sick and perishing? Or are you going to take this opportunity and enhance your life better? And one of the solutions he cited was medical insurance. So today I want to talk about, of course, why the insurance, but also the how. And we shall conclude with the when. Let me just give you some brief statistics. Do you know that in a whole population of 41 million Ugandans, we only have 4%? That is actually about 1.7 million people who are medically insured. The bigger population, the 96%, that's about 39 million people, are not insured. And they fear costs involved with medical care, whether it's a medical checkup, whether it's cancer treatment, whether it's heart conditions. For how long are we going to live in this state of making drives, campaigns, car wash drives to fund for people who have been sick and yet they maybe had never taken a chance to go and check themselves? Yet with medical insurance, these things are talked about. You won't be worrying about the money because you have already planned for it. So we shall go into that deeper detail later on. Let's gain back our dignity as a people. We can't be victims of shock. At least the first lockdown taught us what to expect. Now there is this second lockdown. What if there is another third one? They have kind of variants. But there are so many other things other than COVID that are wiping our people because it's medical issues. So I want to conclude by saying that health is wealth. So let's take and make some investment towards it. And let's dive into the how. All right, you're most welcome back from the break. Now let me dive into the how. But before I go to the how, let me also share just a brief testimony on the power of medical insurance, because I also have a story to share, and I'm a survivor and a beneficiary of medical insurance. This photo you see was taken about in March last year, 2020. And I had just come from a surgery from the ICU, as you can see the unit. I was at Case Hospital. And they had to do a brain surgery. They had to remove 2 blood clots because I had suffered an attack of the Chifesi at Lugo Cricket Oval on the night of 8th of March. And I was a victim. I was taken by police first to Naguru Hospital, which Naguru Hospital could not take me in because I did not have any identification. So they took me to Mulago Hospital. And when I gained some consciousness at around 4 a.m. in the morning, I asked the nurse where I was, and they told me that you're in Mulago Hospital. So Mulago told me that they didn't have gloves. So by 7 a.m., I had to rush out. The whole story short, I got a border the following morning. The only thing that I remained with were my car keys, so I drove. I asked the boarder to take me to where the car was. The police people told me to identify myself. I gave them my brother's number. He came and picked me, and I spent about 4 days on painkillers until the pain was not going away, even when I was using morphine. And that's how I was brought to Case Hospital, where I did a scan, and the neurosurgeon, Dr. Hussein Senyonjo, had to come in, and he did the surgery, and I spent about a month in the hospital. Why am I bringing all this is, if you look at the bills, something that can happen accidentally, if you are not prepared for it, if you didn't have any kind of medical insurance, I would have really been a very big victim here. So I utilized about 30 million of my cover, and I was back to normal. And I want to thank God. And I had to use this second chance to also bring the same message to all of you. So let me dive into the how. Now, there are two kinds of classes. There is a corporate cover, and then there is the individual or family cover. Let me start with the corporate cover. This is just an example of the corporate cover. There are kind of very many options that you can take on. You can start with the highest, whereby, and maybe let me also dwell on the numbers involved. For corporate, you need about 10 people or more. But of course, the more numbers, the bigger the discount. So we shall see the discount on this next slide. Let me just show you this example. If we have inpatient of say 70 million, and this is hospitalization limit, this is up to how much the insurance company will pay up to the hospital that you go to. And we already have about 400 service providers across the country. So should you want to get something more, we can refer you up outside of the country at a smaller cost. There are other providers that cover up to $10,000 US, and they charge you a small cost of about $100 or something like that. But we can all discuss all that when you get interested. So let me just use this example. 70 million inpatient, outpatient are the general consultations you get, and the medications, treatments of 4 million in a year. There are optical limits, there is dental care, and then the total premium per unit cost in this group of 11 people was about 1.1 million. And if you look at the taxes involved, is about 99,000, which is about 0.5% of the total premium. So this group can get something good within these premiums. But if they can't afford, there is another option of 50 million at 3 million, and 3 million of outpatient, optical 500,000, and dental of 500,000. So the total premium is 980,000 for the whole year, and so on. So there's also 20 million, 2 million, 300,000 for dental and optical, and then the total premium is 784,000. So for the whole year, each person contributing that is something very affordable. Most employers can afford this for their staff members as a motivation. But let me show you if we have more staff members involved. If there was 80, they can negotiate. Where the other side is so we're charging about 980,000 for the year, almost 1 million shillings. Here is a discount and comes to about 850,000 for the year. And someone is being covered up to 50 million, inpatient, outpatient 4 million, and so on. But what if things come to the worst and you can't negotiate at your company to have these kind of corporate covers? We have also packaged something for you under the family packages or individual packages. So let me just use this example to show you how we cover the medical insurance under the family package. So this is also another option. I'll show you the highest and then the lowest. So the highest option is say one that covers up to 100 million per family. This is a young family of the main member, someone in their 30s, and then with their spouse in their 20s, and maybe 2 children, all below 18 years. So if we are covering up to 100 million per family, there is 5 million per person, and then there is 400,000 for dental and optical. So, and also maternity. Now, maternity, I have to put a star here and explain further that Whereas the corporate cover doesn't need any waiting periods. Once you get all the members, we shall take you on immediately. For the family packages, there will be a waiting period of a whole year. So you can't come when you're already pregnant and expect to get this cover. You have to wait till you have to start early and plan accordingly, such that by the time you get pregnant, you have already been on cover for at least 1 year. So with this example of someone in a family of covering up to 100 million, we're looking at a premium of about 7.7 million. Without the maternity, we can just deduct that. You will see that it comes about 6.9 million. Okay, so there are different options. There's 60 million and 3 million outpatient. That is about 5.5 million. Remember, you can also just remove the maternity limit if you don't need it. But if you need it, please start planning for it early. Then the last package is about 15 million. This is where I want to end. So 15 million inpatient and 1.5 million outpatient. Outpatient, I already explained. Dental of 150,000 shillings per person, and optical of 200,000. Maternity of about 1.5 million again. So you're looking at those premium allocations because these are aged based. That's why we need to get the ages. And maybe at this point, I need to explain that we don't take on people above 60 years. So, but if you have already been on cover, maybe in your 50s, we can still take you on up to the age of 70. Yeah, but we can't get a new client, or you can't come to the medical insurance and get covered in the first when you're already 60 plus. So, but below that, between that age where you're most productive and you actually work most, we need to plan that you get covered so that you get out of the 96% population of Uganda who are not covered. Start somewhere. So if you look at the total premium here is about 3.6 million for the lowest package. And that is for a whole year, where each of the members is being covered up to 15 million shillings. And this is something really affordable. If you divide this by per month, you find that this is about 300,000, which people can, this is much less than what people are paying in rent. But if not, then maybe this is not a topic for you. So I want to end with travel insurance, because travel insurance is also part of medical insurance, only that you are traveling, and in some countries it's a must to have travel insurance or medical insurance when you're entering that country. So let me just show you this example of a person that needs to be covered. You know, there's what they call a benefit, the main benefits, and then the premium. I'll show you the premium last. But you have to know what you're buying for. So if we cover you up to 100,000 US dollars, this is someone traveling for the whole year. These are frequent travelers, for instance. But even though you're not a frequent traveler, this is the maximum liability or benefit we shall offer you whenever you're traveling. So there are a number of benefits. I won't go into those. We shall go into them when we get the time. Now, this person, we're going to charge about $362 for the whole year. Now, there are some countries which are demanding to have a COVID extension whenever you're traveling to their countries. So we usually charge 20 to 30% additional premium, or the cost will increase by about 30%. So this client will be charged about $488 for the whole year, including COVID, should they access COVID wherever they go. Now, there are also different rates that we can show you, because travel insurance is actually charged on a daily basis or weekly basis. So if you see 1 day to 7 days, we're charging a premium of about $37 and $63 between 8 to 10 days. So as the list goes on, I want to close by telling you that, like any crisis manager has to train for turbulence, just like pilots are trained to manage turbulence while in the air, and they take many years. So also insurers have taken many years to factor and to establish how to manage this risk very well. Please try to safeguard us. Try to safeguard yourself by taking out a medical insurance, because we are highly trained, just like pilots are trained to navigate, to aviate, and to elevate the turbulence. We have also been trained, and this show is going to bring for you the service providers who offer these services and what is their unique selling point. What's their leverage in terms of technology, in terms of the things they do that they promise that are different from what other players are offering. Please don't go into all this when you're blindsided. This is going to be an eye-opener. This is going to be a beginning of a discussion to get maybe to the national health insurance discussion, because also the hospitals, the referral hospitals, the national hospitals, not to go through my experience, you have to plan in advance. I want to sign out and encourage you to tune in again for any other queries or concerns about insurance. There's so many aspects of insurance that we can discuss, and we shall bring you more service providers, the key stakeholders, and also testimonies of people who have benefited from this, to tell you their experience and to tell you that there is still hope. So remember to hope for the best while preparing for the worst. Thank you. I remain Emmanuel Sanyu Safali, bringing you the Promise Show.